Hello, this is Joanne Matson. This is an introduction to the legal writing course for spring 2021. This is the first time I've ever done a video introduction, so I hope it goes okay. Please be kind on your reviews. I wanted to give you a little introduction to the course. I know many of you have taken quite a few online courses, especially this last year. But everybody does everything a little bit different. So I just wanted to make sure that you had a sense of how I do it. I should introduce myself to start with. Maybe I still have my northern accent. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. But I moved to Arkansas in 1983, so I've been here a really long time. I am currently the most senior member of the department, and I'm the only one that was here back when we were in the English department. So I've had a long history here at ULR, including during the 90s getting a law degree at ULR Bowen, which is kind of how I got interested in this topic. I have not actually practiced law, although I've kept up my CLE license, and I have done work on pre-law, advising students who are interested in going to law school, and I'm currently doing research on the transition of students from undergraduate to law school in terms of their writing. So if you're at all interested in going to law school, I'd be happy to talk to you. This course is not necessarily a course for pre-law students, although I often have many, and we'll see what we do this time. Because legal writing, legal thinking, I think is something that everybody can take advantage of. It's related to every single topic in the world. If it were a face-to-face class, I'd bring in a newspaper and show everybody what all the legal topics that came up on every single type of page, from sports through business through national. I have, in addition to the law degree from 1995, I also have a PhD in English. I was one of the first English majors at the University of Minnesota to do a writing-focused dissertation, although what I did actually was writing and reading related dissertation. I got my PhD at the University of Minnesota, and I got a BA at a college called Kirkland College, which no longer exists, but now has merged with the men's college across the street called Hamilton College. And it was, I guess I got a BA in '77. The college is upstate New York, the coldest place in the world. And then, of course, after that, I went to Minnesota, another coldest place in the world. Yes, Kirkland had more of the snowiest place in the world. And then I finally came down here, where it turns out I always liked the warmth. And I think I was a changeling. I should have been born in the South. I now have lived here since 1983. I'm not even going to add those numbers up. I'm married to a person who grew up in Little Rock. We have two sons, both of whom are in school in Dallas, Texas, one in graduate school and one in undergraduate. And I will probably mention them several times during the course. So I thought I would start just by showing you the course, just orienting you to how I do things. If you've never been to UALR before and taken classes online, I'm going to start from the beginning. So the way to get to online courses, it's to this course management system called Blackboard, that I've had a love-hate relationship with over many years. They have changed the interface. I don't think they've changed it too much else, but they've changed the interface. And actually, it's a little easier to get into it. And down below, you have this some information and some messages, and also some suggestions and links and things. The new interface allows you to sign in using your email sign in. And so that's why I didn't even have to sign in when I did this, because I'd already signed in earlier. Along here is the courses. You should have all courses that you are signed up for listed. If you don't, you need to contact the Blackboard help people. And legal writing is here. And I am doing this so that you can see the student preview. I have a bridge on my banner because of this interest that I have in the transfer of undergraduate to law school writing. And so I'm seeing myself as bridging. At the same time, legal writing is really just another version of technical writing, and all the things that you might have learned in any technical writing class are going to apply here. There are certain genres that they use. There's very practical audiences. We want to try to work concisely and efficiently. So those of you who are into technical writing might want to further explore how legal writing is a subset of technical writing. The way I will do the course is the first place that you come into is the announcements page. And I will set it so that when I make an announcement, I send it out to you in your ULR email. And you should have already received this announcement. And as a matter of fact, I know several of you did, because my first version of this announcement had last year's course syllabus. And I saw several of you went in, looked at it, and I apologize for that. I've corrected that so that the syllabus for this year is here. I make a point here about this textbook, Making the Case. This is not published anymore, and so it's very expensive for the bookstore to get it, although they get it from the publisher, but the publisher apparently has some background of it. There are hundreds of these out in the used bookstores, and you can get them for $5. And that's definitely what you should do, because the bookstore version is, maybe $80 to $100, which is kind of ridiculous. I'm using a new additional book this semester, this Pre-Writing Handbook for Law Students. And I always try something new every semester. That's what's new this semester. I haven't quite figured out how I will integrate it into what I've been doing, but there will be a section of the course that I particularly use it. While we're here looking at the homepage or the announcements page of Blackboard, I want to point out just what I do. I use the navigation menu quite a lot, and I have it organized by groups. So the first things are the main material, the contents, and then I have a communication section. And then I have resources, which include legal links, technical support for Blackboard and computer things, and then a link to the university policies and resources. I also have added a submission link for the Rhetoric and Writing Awards, and the application to become a Writing Center intern, which I know a couple of you already are, just to make it easy for you. And we can certainly talk about that later on. The most important part, or the substance of the course, is under course content. And what I've done is I have a section called course content. And then under that, I will have all the materials that we use as the semester goes on. When we are focusing on something, I will add those things under the course content on the navigation menu. So right now I've added syllabus and the week 1 material. As time goes on, I will hide the week 1, and I'll add this next one, legal reasonings, weeks 2 and 3, but you can always find everything that I've ever posted if you click on course content and go in there. So let's start with the syllabus. And as I said, I originally had the wrong one linked here, or at least linked on the announcements page. I use Google Docs, and I know a lot of the other rhetoric and writing faculty do use Google Docs. And so I know many of you are familiar with it, but there are always a few students who haven't done a whole lot with Google Docs. And so we will have a first assignment that asks you to create a document on Google Docs and email it to me, just to make sure that everybody is familiar with Google Docs usage. So here's the syllabus. One of the reasons I like using Google Docs is it's so easy to intersect with Blackboard. I can just link something to link a document into Blackboard, and then as I change it, it just changes because it's up on the web rather than on my hard drive, and doesn't require me to keep changing things along the way. So I have all the very important information that you'll need to know. I want to point out, I'm trying something this semester. I haven't done this before. I'm going to have a Zoom-based office hours. So I'm going to have office hours from 1:30 to 2:30 on Monday, Wednesday. This is because this time is selected because I have a synchronous class in the hour and a half before. I'm also thinking of doing a nighttime, and I'll ask y'all about that later on to see if I can figure out a time that it doesn't even need to be office hours. It can be just a time to get together and ask questions, because now that we have Zoom available, it's just so much easier to do that kind of thing. There's a comment here, you have to use UALR email. I probably don't have to tell you that. But basically, you can't get access to any of the Google Docs, or now it looks like you can't get access to Blackboard without logging into the email. So you definitely need to do that. As I said, this making the case, get that online. We won't start using it right away, or I will have PDFs of the first material that we use so that you have time to get it shipped. Don't worry about shipping. And then I have a bunch of supplemental texts, particularly interesting if you, for most people, if they're into pre-law, well, the first and the last are good for pre-law. This one, Writer's Legal Guide and Author's Guild Desk Reference, is a useful document for those of you who want to go into writing and, you know, be say a private independent contractor as a writer, and what kinds of legal issues that you might address. As I've implied, there's kind of a double focus to this course. It's addressing the forms of writing common in law school, and then also the addressing the legal issues that writers might have. And the first assignment asks you to take a look at these outcomes, so I'm not going to pay attention to it right now, but like many people in the writing field, I am focusing my courses and teaching around specific learning outcomes and trying to make sure that you can articulate those. This course has outcomes that are common to any writing course, and then outcomes specific to the legal writing context. This is about the units and the assignments, which I'll let you take a look at later. Here's my typical schedule. We're going to have what I call weekly check-ins on Mondays and Tuesdays. I plan to post new material on Mondays. I don't like to post it in advance because I think it's overwhelming to see everything all in advance. But I will post new material on Monday, and then we'll have a weekly check-in discussion to make sure that you understand what I'm asking you to do, and also maybe to just discuss things in general. It just kind of depends. We'll start that on Monday, January 25th. I may change the weekly schedule to a different day, depending on people's concerns. So after a couple of weeks, I will be asking you if the Monday through Sunday schedule works for you, or if there might be a better way to set it up. I'll keep a running total of your percentage in the grading tool, so you can keep abreast of where you are in the course. It's a little misleading. I'm not sure if I really want to do the percentage. We'll see. Like most writing teachers, I follow a process-based approach. The terms that I like to use are pre-writing, in-process drafts, and then drafts to be graded, or best for now drafts. And that's because the idea, of course, is that writing can always be worked on. I have an open revision policy, so as long as you're turning everything in on time and doing what I ask, you know, you are welcome to keep revising until you feel happy with what you've got. I have a very picky request. Every time you create a file, whether it's a Word file or a Google Docs file, make sure you name it in the way that I request, with your last name first, some kind of indication of what the document is, and some kind of indication of what the version number is. And this is for you as well as for me. As you see, I just got myself confused by posting the last year's syllabus up. I think the problem was that the date was at the end, and so I didn't see it as clearly. And some of you may have even had the experience of turning in the wrong version of things to teachers. So make sure that you change things. One of the reasons why I really like Google Docs is that you have the version history, so that you can see all the changes that have happened. And here's another picky detail. And this is, I think, even harder for people to remember, but try to change the subject lines in discussion posts so we can tell who is posting about what. The interface on discussions in Blackboard is not as clear as it should be. I will assume if you're sort of absent for 2 weeks that you're dropping, but I will be nagging you all the time if you're late and turning in things. I will tend to nag earlier in the course as things go on. I will nag less. Things need to be turned in on time. I will reduce points, but not by a lot, especially given the chaos of our current society. Let me know what's going on and we can almost always work things out. The classes are small enough and they're online, and so we ought to be able to work adaptations. The policies, I think, is all pretty self-evident. If we have inclement weather, which we've had in January and February, online class, our class generally will continue unless there is some kind of vast telephone or electrical outage. But I realize that outages may affect people differently. Just be sure to contact me. Speaking of which, back on the intro, I've given you my cell phone number because that's the only number I have, other than this is the major, the main number at the Rhetoric and Writing office. I don't mind at all that you contact me and let me know what's going on, but please be respectful of my time as well as yours. I've got a link here to the Writing Center and various resources on campus related to any term, and it also specifically related to COVID-19 term. This would be the point, and if we were in person, that I would answer questions, but so feel free to ask me questions later on about the course. The schedule. I tried to give deadlines, but deadlines always will change. I like to keep to a schedule and be prepared and be organized, but at the same time, sometimes I need to slow down or speed up because of what I see is going on in the class. And so please understand that I am trying to be respectful of your need to schedule and prepare. So that's what I'm doing here, but this is subject to change. Now my syllabus is sort of color coordinated, and you can later go back and look at the key assignments. So each assignment will spend, each big unit will spend 2-3 weeks on, and that's how we'll go. As the semester goes on, my deadlines are vaguer, more vague and more vague, because it just will depend on how we go. At the beginning here, I have tried to be more detailed because I can be. Here's this first assignment that is due. And here's the discussion. This is what's due this week, but I'll show you where we will find out about that. And then under the schedule and syllabus and outcomes link, I have linked to the outcomes in another format. So a few years ago, Blackboard went crazy and I moved all my coursework to a Weebly site, and legal writing was one of them. This year, I am moving it all back to Blackboard because it seems more stable, but periodically I will link out to this Weebly site, and I've left a few things on it, like the course outcomes, legal links. These are things that are unchangeable, and contact. So some information and some technology tips where I include some information about Google Docs. I will link this technology tips to the course navigation menu. So this was a learning module, and this is how it goes. And when you click on the learning module, the first thing that does is it just opens the first page. So when I first clicked on it, we saw the syllabus, and then we see the schedule and outcomes. But you can see here that you can also navigate through it with the arrows, but the content, the Blackboard, is still up there on my tabs. So that's what this module was. And then here's where we are right now. We are on week 1, introduction to the course. And every week I will create a little sheet like this with goals for the week and activities to do for the week. And I have even this time incorporated the discussion into this learning module. So there are 2 things to do this week. There is to participate in the discussion on legal writing on Blackboard, blah, blah, blah. And I have started it by Friday, since we start a day late, rather than start by Thursday. But all my discussions will be, almost all my discussions will be set up with a start by date and then a finish by date, so that you can, so that we can actually maybe have some kind of discussion between people. If everybody just waits to the actual deadline, then we don't have time to discuss. So we're going to take advantage of the asynchronousness so that other people can all log in at different times. And I will try to, with any assignment, say what it is I want you to do back and forth. I'm a very active participant in discussions. And at one point, somebody said that they realized that I use the Blackboard discussions as my sort of teaching platform. Basically, I'm trying to use this, transform the classroom discussion into a Blackboard discussion. It's a little harder, but that's why we have to have these week 1 things. Sometimes these weekly things will have little lectures. Often they will have little lectures they'll ask you to read as well. So there are 2 things to do: the discussion and the introductory assignment. The discussion is the next item. You can also always find the discussions over here. And here we have the discussions for this class. There are 2 forums that are standard. One is an assistance forum that you can do if you have questions. If you have questions that are likely to be questions that other people have, I appreciate that you use the assistance forum rather than contact me individually, because likely the other students will have the same questions. Then we'll have these weekly check-ins, and I will have a single week there, and you'll just reply to it. We don't have it yet. Note that with all the discussion boards, I set it up so there's this subscribe option. What that does is subscribe to forum, is I will get a notification that somebody has posted something on this discussion board. And then the second introductory assignment is this introduction. And really the purpose of this is to introduce yourself to me. So tell me a little bit about yourself. And I want you to do it in Google Docs. So that's really the second main purpose of this assignment, to make sure everybody gets comfortable using Google Docs. And then the third main purpose of this assignment is to become familiar with, of course, Learning Docs, learning objectives. So the assignment is to do a self-assessment. And as I said, this time I've actually incorporated the discussion in there. I just kind of figured out how to do that. One last thing to show you. I will try always to have a rubric for every assignment. When I try new assignments, I may not have the rubric yet. And but most of the assignments here I've used many times. You can always find the rubric by looking at my grades. And here are the assignments that are currently there. I don't know why view description is not, I mean, it just tells you the grading period. I don't understand that. But you can see the rubric. And so you should definitely take it and take a look at it. And then there will be a total. I guess I said that I would do a running percentage. And I will add that as well. You can see all these different things. If there's something that's wrong, just be sure to let me know. I know some students like to keep track better than other students. And I guess that is probably all that I have to say here. Like I said, if it were a face-to-face class, I'd say if there are any questions, and I know you'd have questions. So by all means, use the assistance forum in the discussion area to ask questions, and we'll all, I'm sure, benefit by whatever it is that you've done, you've asked. So I'm looking forward to the semester. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.